Jai Shri Ram, and a very warm welcome to everyone on the Dr. Ankit Shah channel. Today we are trying something a little bit different. So on this channel we are trying out some recorded clips. So the topic for today, we were supposed to go live, but instead we'll try these topic-wise discussions. We're moving the Q&A session to the day after tomorrow. So first and foremost, the topic for today, which was remaining for me to discuss, is about Marco Rubio. So regarding Marco Rubio, the manner in which he came to Delhi and the celebration that was held for him, it was a celebration of American Independence Day, and besides that, his birthday was also celebrated. And a lot of symbolism has been seen. There was also the Quad meeting of foreign ministers, which, as usual, Bharat was hosting this time. So this particular visit by Marco Rubio was a little bit different because first and foremost, it was not a state visit. So some people are making the point that he was not given the proper protocol. For instance, who went to receive him? Who went to see him off for his farewell? I personally think that really does not matter because this was a summit-related visit. It was not a state visit, and tourist destinations were added on. So it really does not matter who sees him off. Otherwise, considering the American behavior that we have seen for the past year and a half, it is quite normal to get the cold shoulder treatment after all that. Anyways, for example, when our Mr. Jaishankar goes somewhere, we also take a look at who comes to receive him. Now this, I feel like the background is now being set for a major deal because first of all, we can see an agreement on rare earth minerals that both of the countries have now signed. And now their delegations is coming to Bharat for the specific deal that has been pending for the last 1.5 years. So that at least some part of it can finally be concluded. And just as I said the last time when the Bharatiya team and Mr. Piyush Goyal himself had gone all the way to America, and seeing the kind of behavior that was shown by the Trump team, it really felt like the Bharatiya team had decided, now it is you who have to come to us if you want to make a deal. So I think what was said back then is visibly happening now. They were the ones who had to come. So next week, a negotiation team is arriving from America. It will mostly be the final touches on what has been agreed, on whichever portion has been agreed upon. And it is very important for this to happen so that the crisis that we have all been waiting for can finally occur. All right. Now, for the second big interesting development that has happened is that Kakoli Dastidar, who is from the TMC, has resigned from her post within the TMC. And we all know just how long the TMC can actually survive as a political party because after all, this nation has to eventually move towards one nation, one election, where the dirty politics of pitting a region against the nation will have absolutely no place left after one nation, one election. So I have very serious doubts about the individual existence of parties such as the TMC once one nation, one election actually begins. All right. So apart from that, we also have to explain some tweets today. So let's get to the very first one. Time and again, whenever I talk about Adam Smith or Karl Marx, then people's questions start coming in, especially from economic students who seem to think that Adam Smith's role was not really all that bad, or what is the big deal if Adam Smith happened to talk about the division of labor or its various factors. So first of all, we really need to understand the background of this individual. This is the story of that very person whose theories and ideologies were implemented on a massive scale. Primarily because capitalism was seen in a positive light during that time. And it was also linked with the classroom model. That is precisely why it is so important to understand this person's life, because 95% of the entire world's wealth came to be in the hands of just about 5% of entrepreneurs. After this individual proposed this theory, whatever has transpired in the last 300 to 400 years, this is what has happened. That 95% of wealth went into the hands of 5% of the people. So what exactly happened in his life that he came up with this kind of ideology? You see, his entire childhood was spent surrounded by the echoing sound of hammers. The name of the place is Karkoldi, where in that area there used to be naileries. Naileries meaning the places where small nails are made. There used to be thousands of workshops and very small children who are referred to as untrained hands. Untrained hands means that they are not being taught any particular skill. So these little children, these boys, who have absolutely no clue about what the subsequent processes involving skill are going to be after they complete their work. So there were thousands of these small workshops that were making nails, and the sound of the hammer that would strike to make the nail, this person's entire childhood was spent in the sound of that very hammer. Adam Smith's, that is. So what he found was that these untrained children who have no idea about the subsequent processes and are of a very young age, these untrained children provide the businessmen, that is the few businessmen there are, with an unbelievable speed and help them earn efficiency, even if they do not know the process ahead. So this very concept of untrained hands, the British classroom format went ahead and adopted it because capitalism was in a way considered a good structured method for wealth creation in that era. So what exactly did the British classroom format do? It was that human beings should come out of it being completely untrained. Only then, at the age of 23 to 24, if they are completely untrained, would a few entrepreneurs be able to pay them a salary and build wealth for themselves. The entire British classroom format was designed specifically for this purpose. So in Adam Smith's theory of capitalism, this was described as the division of labor. What this means is there is a complex work and you distribute it into very small individual labor tasks. And you hire different groups of people just to do those small jobs and pay them salaries. No single person should ever know the entire process. This is the central theme of Adam Smith's capitalism. Who should know the entire process? Only that one businessman should know, the one who has invested the money to set this all up. And how are the British classrooms helping in this? They are essentially engaging in human trafficking of children who are purposely kept untrained, so that they spend their entire lives working for a salary and can never actually create wealth. So this is the very thing that companies then carried forward, because as you know, the format of the joint stock company was born during the era of British colonialism. So the companies continued with this exact format. What did they do? Whenever someone is hired in any given department, they are taught only about 5% of the task of that entire department. He is told that for the rest of his life, this is all he has to do. Right, for all the years you are in the company, just this 5%. Not of the whole department and not of the whole business. Just 5% of the work of a single department sitting at a desk. You have to just turn the clock for 10 hours every single day. So the companies also continued that very same classroom format, ensuring that no single person should ever get to know the work of the entire department. So by doing this, 95% of the wealth ended up in the hands of the 5% who are the owners, and all the rest of them just became jobbers. This is precisely why it is so important to understand Adam Smith's capitalism, that sound of the hammer in his mind, that very hammer, what that hammer did to his mind, and because of his mind, the ideology, the theory, and the concept that he ultimately proposed. How was it adopted, and in what way is the entire world suffering from it today? And because of this wealth wipeout, Karl Marx was born, saying that since so much exploitation has already happened, now I want things for free. So you see, sometimes people's autobiographies, people's lives, it is very important to study them. Then you will understand why your life is the way it is, and because of whom. He went away after applying his theory, and the person may be good or bad. I am not passing any judgment on that. But the ideology that he gave was that if there is a big process, you break it into so many small pieces. And you put everyone to work on different pieces. And no one should have any idea what is going on in the other piece. And only the businessman will watch all the processes from above. Only he will know the entire 100% process. This method of Adam Smith's capitalism is what the British classroom format for 400 years of the British colonial period used to help out its entire empire. Now, the second thing I want to discuss with you is the Center for Accounting, Consulting and Financial Excellence CAFE. This is an initiative started under the able guidance of the Prime Minister, who holds a strong vision that Bharat should have its own big fours. So the Center for Accounting, Consulting and Financial Excellence is an institution that has been set up, and a 2-day deliberation will happen for the next plan to set this up. This 1111 IFC brigade, which is in Gift City, Gandhinagar, has been organized there on the 29th and 30th of May 2026. Anyone who wants to register for this or visit and contribute. If you want to contribute to the thought process of how India's Big Four should be built, you can all go to the cafe's website and register. And secondly, you will also get the email ID from my tweet. You can also go there and inquire. The event is for 2 days on the 29th and 30th of May 2026 in Gandhinagar in Gift City. Let's move on. Another very strange thing that is repeatedly asked and told about the British classroom format is the process of learning. The process of learning. The process is never structured. It is not sequential, and this process is not mechanized or mechanical. It is a natural process. So how should learning happen? When you and I were born, how did we learn? That's how it should be. That is how learning should be. Learning should never be structured and standardized. So the way I have learned Hindi or Gujarati, I haven't learned Hindi and Gujarati because of that. That someone taught me the alphabet, then someone taught me grammar. I learned in such a sequence, and then I became an expert in English or an expert in Gujarati or an expert in Hindi. No, when we are born, when any human being is born, where does he get the language from? What his mother is saying, what his father is saying, what the family members are saying, by learning and improvising on that. The whole language a small child learns. That is a learning process. The learning process is never structured. So the Abrahamic economics way of structuring and standardizing is not the Bharatiya way. It is very important to understand this. That is why the British classroom format is wrong. Secondly, we are seeing that there is a lot of discussion going on about the Gymkhana institution, and it is very shocking that an institution which is being said to be affiliated with Lahore Gymkhana Club, Lahore, and even it is also affiliated with a Bangladeshi Gymkhana Club. It is visible on their website. Affiliation means that the members of the Lahore Gymkhana Social Club, in a reciprocal arrangement, can visit the Delhi Gymkhana Club at any time and use its facilities. Do you understand what was happening in Delhi? At a short distance from the Prime Minister's residence, a short distance means a stone's throw away. There, the members of the Lahore Gymkhana Club were getting easy access. Do you understand what a big national security threat it is? So whenever some people ask, hey, sir, why is the government talking about security? The issue of security is the biggest issue. When you are giving access to those people around the Prime Minister's residence, who can plan anything? An FIR has been filed on this in 2022 regarding the drone footage. It happened during the Tiranga Yatra. An FIR has been filed stating that you have compromised the security of the Prime Minister's residence. It was from your premises. So in the club, there were many such activities going on that were very suspicious. And some people say that this is an institution. Now, some people have come to argue that this is an institution. What kind of institution is this? Here, every kind of a startup incubation for gangs is happening. What kind of gangs? People from every single gang who come with one idea after another, each better than the last, on how to loot this nation. That is the main hub, the Gymkhana Club, the one in Delhi. So how are Delhi's prime properties to be seized? How do the Babuo capture them? How do journalists get a hold of them? The ones who feed on the cash flows of Congress. Those old cronies and associates, how can they just take over Delhi's prime properties completely for free? There are judges, all the brown sepoys that Britain left behind, all of them got it for free, for absolutely nothing. They seized properties in prime locations of Delhi, our national capital. The first and foremost example of that If there is anyone who actually invented that concept, it is this Delhi Gymkhana club. Obviously, now all Gymkhana clubs should be investigated. Orders have already been given in Maharashtra. The hangout spot for the most corrupt people in the entire world is the Gymkhana club. Now, it seems to me that because we are talking about both illegal immigrants and the Bangladeshi Rohingyas, I really think there should be an application where citizens themselves can click and upload a picture and the location whenever any suspicious person is found. And there should be a dedicated police desk in every city for any Rohingya Bangladeshi illegals. If someone feels they are suspicious, they should be able to notify the authorities. And there must be digital tracking on a real-time basis from whichever state and city they are apprehended. From that very same state and city to the BSF post, the detention center, and then from whichever BSF post they are sent back, the data should be visible in real time. I think there should be such a kind of system in place. Now, all of these people who are financially empowering such illegal immigrants, whether it is Zepto or Swiggy or whoever they may be, for all of them, I really think that a very heavy financial punishment should be imposed if they are caught financially empowering an illegal person, essentially giving them shelter. Tomorrow, that money could go into terror financing or protest financing. It could go against this nation. So if you have given them employment and are paying them salaries, then why shouldn't we go ahead and impose a significant financial penalty on your company? On this matter, I strongly feel that some action needs to be taken. The second and very interesting thing is that it is being reported that some of Pakistan's names that were changed during the decolonization process, the Hindu names that were given to certain areas, it is now being said that this process has been stopped. It's been reversed according to the news. So our viewers should understand this very clearly, that once I have said something is going to happen, it absolutely means it is going to happen. So what exactly is the reason for this reversal? Whenever these kinds of things happen, whether in Bharat, in Pakistan or anywhere else, the steps for decolonization and de-radicalization are always just like this. First of all, an announcement is made. It is tested to see what kind of reaction is coming. If the reaction that comes back is negative, then from which particular sections of society is that negative feedback coming from? How exactly do you handle that section of society, and who can be put up as a counter argument to it? Then it gets funded. After that, on the channels, you will see Pakistani citizens explaining the cash flow, telling people that this and that will be the benefit if tourists arrive. This is all in preparation for a post-dollar world, not for right now in Pakistan. It will happen. It is a step-by-step process. And then, once all the countermeasures are in place, this decision about the renaming will come back again. So you see, besides this, no other cash flow is really possible, not a sustainable cash flow for Pakistan. Okay? This is something that has to happen. So this is really Pakistan's preparation for a post-dollar multipolar world order. So do not connect this with today. All the steps will be taken and this decision will come eventually. Now, an announcement has just been made that the government has given official orders on demographic change. And for this very purpose, a whole organization, something like a committee, is being created. And I have a feeling that when you study demographic change, you will find that the job model is the single biggest reason for it. Why our birth rate is going down? The reason for that is the job model. When companies transfer their young employees in their jobs every third or fourth year, they have to go and live in completely unknown cities. So obviously, the parents of both partners are not able to go along with the couple. And just for this one particular reason, consider a 50% reduction in having a second child just because of this one factor. So the job model is a very big factor. And it is because of this that the birth rate of Hindus is going down. Now, the second interesting thing that I have to cover today is the fact that Joseph is going to have a meeting. Joseph, who is the new Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, he will meet the Prime Minister, he will meet Ankit Shah, and he will also meet the Finance Minister Nirmala. I think that project funds for Tamil Nadu will start getting approved within a few months. And I feel this is because whenever a new kind of administration or rule comes into any state, then whatever old thing is stuck, it needs a significant push from the center. There are also some funding requirements for new infrastructure projects. And when new blood comes in, obviously they also want to prove something. So it is very natural that Joseph will meet the Prime Minister in Delhi and will also meet Nirmala Sitharaman, which makes it perfectly clear that some kind of package he will want for the progress of his state. Now, another big sensational video has come out. Once again, as is usual, a Patel woman was murdered at a counter in America, and I think that in a very short time, the use of AI will begin against NRI families. I mean, AI will be used to find out exactly which family member comes home and at what time they leave. So what is the deal with the jewelry to make it that much easier to steal? Well, I have a feeling that this is going to start happening very soon. The second thing is that Dharma Productions has gone and shot a completely worthless and I would say adharmic video. Inside the movie, there is an actress or someone who pretends to be an actress named Ananya Pandey, who is just a completely and utterly horrible kind of actor. As is usual for them, they are insulting our ancients. And what is more, because the choreographer, the so-called choreographer, is a guy by the name of Adil Sheikh, then you can pretty much understand for yourself exactly what this jihadi wood wants to show on the screen. So you must absolutely continue with your boycott of this jihadi wood. You should keep continuing that as usual. My one and only request to all of you is that you must continue the boycott of Bollywood until these people finally fall in line and stop this business of insulting our ancients and our history and insulting our religion. They have to stop. That is all I have for the day. Jai Hind, Jai Jinendra.